Well, good morning, man. It's June the 14th, and it's an absolutely beautiful day. Neighborhood's waking up, the dogs are barking, the birds are singing. And we turn to the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, for God's daily dose of wisdom. And as I was reading through Proverbs 14, verse 26 jumped off the page. In fact, verses 26 and 27 jumped off the page, but we only have time for 26. It reads like this: In the fear of the Lord, there is strong confidence, and his children will have refuge. Interesting. What's he talking about? Well, first of all, there's that phrase, the fear of the Lord. In the fear of the Lord, there is strong confidence. Okay, it's been a while since we've talked about the fear of the Lord. What is the fear of the Lord? Why is it all throughout the Old Testament? And why should I be afraid of God? Isn't God love? Well, yeah, he is. In fact, we read in 1 John chapter 4, verse 8, the one who does not love does not know God, for God is love. So what is this notion of the fear of the Lord? Well, I like to define the fear of the Lord as an awesome reverence with a healthy dose of trepidation. Now, in this verse, the fear of the Lord, there is strong confidence, and his children will have refuge. There's a guy by the name of St. Gregory who talks about this particular verse, and he says this: as in the way of the world, fear gives rise to weakness, so in the way of God, fear produces strength. Okay, that's an interesting take on things. So what is he talking about there? Well, first and foremost, we need to lay a foundation that God is for us. He's not against us. He never has been. God is for us. We read in Psalm 27, verse 1, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the defense of my life. Whom shall I dread? So just like St. Gregory was talking about, as in the way of the world, fear gives rise to weakness, so in the way of God, fear produces strength. So if the Lord is for us, if he's my light and my salvation, David says, whom shall I fear? He is the defense of my life. Whom shall I dread? Contrast that with what Paul says in Romans chapter 8, verse 31. He says, what then shall we say to these things? If God is for us, who is against us? In other words, God's got our back. Okay, so God's got our back. God is love. What is this notion of the fear of the Lord? Well, in order to really kind of grasp what these authors are talking about, we need to understand the awesomeness and the holiness of God. And that's captured best in the book of Isaiah, chapter 6. Now, let's set the stage here. Isaiah is about to be commissioned as a prophet to the nation of Israel. But before he gets swept up in a vision into the very throne room of God himself, and he sees something wondrous and amazing. Let's read it together. In the year of King Uzziah's death, I saw the Lord sitting on a throne, lofty and exalted, with the train of his robe filling the temple. Seraphim stood above him, each having 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, and with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. And one called out to the other and said, holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the foundations of the thresholds trembled at the voice of him who called out, while the temple was filling with smoke. Then I said, woe is me, for I am ruined, because I'm a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Then one of the seraphim flew to me with a burning coal in his hand, which he had taken from the altar with tongs. And he touched my mouth with it and said, behold, this has touched your lips, and your iniquity is taken away, and your sin is forgiven. Wow, what a vision. So here's Isaiah. He gets swept up into the throne room of God. He sees these seraphim, these angels, these awesome beings calling out to one another, holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. And the first thing that happens is he sees his sin. He recognizes that he has sinful lips. He's got unclean lips. And he lives among a people of unclean lips. The first thing that happens when we encounter a holy God is our sin is revealed to us in a very profound way. And we are afraid because sin cannot coexist in the presence of a holy God. So why should we be afraid of God? Because of his holiness, because of his purity, because of his awesomeness. Remember, this is the same God who said, "Let there be light," and time and matter and energy were all created. Everything came into being. The eternal God existed before time ever existed. He was the one that said, "Let there be light." This is the one who sits on the throne. The image of the seraphim taking a coal from the altar and touching it to Isaiah's lips is an image of Jesus Christ himself coming from the altar into our lives, touching us and removing our sin from us. But we have to understand that God is holy, and as a result of that, our sin is revealed, and we are afraid. That fear of God is a healthy fear. It's not a fear that we're going to be destroyed, but it's a fear of understanding our position in relation to him. We are unclean. He is holy. We are sinful. He is not. And it's that recognition, that realization, that gives us that healthy dose of trepidation. But the awesomeness of who God is found in Psalms chapter 8, verses 3 and 4. When I consider your heavens and the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have ordained, what is man that you take thought of him, and the Son of Man that you care for him? He considers us friends. If you've never gone out a starry night, away from the city lights, and looked up to heaven and seen the magnificence of his creation, his glory is revealed throughout creation, you will understand the awesomeness of who God is in relation to who we are. I'm going to leave you with this. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. New every morning. Great is your faithfulness, O God. Great is your faithfulness. Now may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that you will abound in hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. I love each and every one of you. I pray that you go out and you make a difference in someone's life today. God bless you.